City of San Francisco offered a $1 million tax break if you were a company and you were willing to move into 10 zip codes in and around the Tenderloin area of San Francisco. Big shocker. Nobody took up the offer. What's this look like? What are the details? Why didn't anybody do this? Let's get into it. Here we go. What I find just absolutely so maddening and yet entertaining at the same time is nobody will talk about street conditions. They want to just pretend that it's businesses aren't interested in the space available, irregardless of the neighborhood it's in, because what you're hearing right now is you're hearing so much talk. We're going to watch a video, by the way. That's why I have my earphones on. I'm not trying to, You're hearing so much about AI coming into San Francisco, but they're not coming into the Tenderloin area. They're just not. And you've got damn near 40% of San Francisco vacant. Here's kind of a bird's eye view, an overview of what's going on in San Francisco. Decent little video here. Let's take a quick peek.
Continues to struggle. New numbers for the second quarter of this year show a new record high for vacant office space.
It's the highest of any major market in the country. Investigative reporter Hilda Gutierrez joins us in the newsroom now. And Hilda, you found that there are some positive indicators.
See how they're always going for the positive spit? They have to. They're local news, right? That's who covers office vacancy because it's not sexy. I cover it a ton because it's an indication of the strength of not only the office market, but of the tax base and street conditions, which is a reflection of politics, of policy. Now, San Francisco is going in the right direction, but it's going to take a long time to get there. And with the numbers that we're talking about here, it's going to take a long time to do a rebound.
Yes, the new data shows signs that the city's free-falling office market is stabilizing. Rates are still rising, but at a slowest pace recorded, showing that businesses are having greater confidence to make long-term real estate commitments.
So vacancies are going up, but at a slower pace. So you're still having businesses give up their office space, just at a lesser rate. That doesn't necessarily reflect that, hey, everybody wants some space in San Francisco. It's just that things are getting worse, slower.
According to new market data, almost 40% of San Francisco offices are currently empty. Office vacancies have been in a years-long upward climb. Last quarter closed at 36.6%. Wow. This quarter, 37%, according to preliminary data from commercial real estate firm CBRE. But the company's Tech Insight Center executive director, Colin Yasukoshi, says the small percentage increase in the last quarter is a good thing.
We're finally starting to see signs that the office market is stabilizing, where the amount of vacant space coming onto market has slowed down pretty significantly.
Another positive sign is the rising tenant demand of 6.9 million square feet. It is almost back to the 7 million square feet average demand of 2019. Overall, CBRE says driven by discounted rents, more leases were completed this quarter than in the previous quarter.
So the amount of space that tenants have signed leases for has increased by about 25% through the first half of this year compared to last year. So we're expecting again to see more companies acquire off.
But you're comparing data to absolutely decimated market. This is one of the worst commercial markets in the United States. Portland and Seattle right behind it, right? If not neck and neck. So when you're talking about big improvements, it's like improvements on what? You're going from really, really, really bad to just really, really bad. It's still bad. It's just still bad.
Space for their employees this year than they did last year.
CBRE says AI companies make up the largest source of demand. The top lease this past quarter was acquired by an AI company, followed by the city of San Francisco, an HR management company, and 2 global law firms. Average rents declined about 30 cents to $68.25.
Wow.
Over quarter.
That is so expensive. So expensive. So what they tried to do is they're trying to get businesses back to this one area, 10 zip codes. So they're going to give a business moving into this area $1 million tax break. And the bottom line is people looked at those zip codes and like, no, I don't think so. We're going to have to do hard pass. No. Bottom line, nobody took advantage of it. $1 million? Are you kidding me? And people said no, because they can't afford it. $1 million ain't worth the liability of moving into these areas. It's just not. Now, some would say, well, there's other tax breaks going on. Okay, but $1 million, you can't tell me no business out there is going to be able to work that into their business model and take them down a bunch of space and say, hey, we're going to get this massive tax break. Let's utilize it. Let's make this go. Instead, they're going to another area of San Francisco, signing up space there and not taking the tax break. That is how bad things are in these particular areas. That's my opinion, right? Other people have other things to say. 2023, San Francisco authorized a generous tax break for companies that moved their offices to the city's downtown, which has struggled with an onslaught of vacancies and diminished foot traffic since the start of the pandemic. Why? Why have you had a diminished foot traffic? Well, you had the whole work from home, right? Oh, we're sending everybody home. We've got the Rona. Don't want to spread it all around. Don't want to spread the flu all around. But more importantly, you've got some real issues with street conditions. Nobody wants space there. They can't give away the Westfield Mall, San Francisco Center Mall. They literally can't give it away. Went up for foreclosure auction last month, and the only person that bid on it was a credit bid from the existing owners of the debt on the place. Yeah, that's the mall that London Breed said, let's make it a soccer stadium. I mean, it's crazy stuff, crazy. 2 years later, however, the city has nothing to show for its efforts, at least not yet. Everything's just so, well, maybe it'll come. Well, it might come. It could be any time now. Now, things are getting worse, just at a slower rate. Things are looking up. Things are looking up. Recent report from San Francisco Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office found that no one has used the tax break, which allows certain companies to get up to $1 million off their taxes, business taxes, for 3 years. They open new offices in or near downtown. The report, which is based on 2024 tax returns, was the first opportunity the city had to record usage of the $1 million credit approved 2 years earlier. It's not clear why San Francisco hasn't reported any takers. I don't get it. Why not? Hey, I got 5,500 square feet. Now, it's in a little bit of in an up-and-coming area. It's a diamond in the rough. Now, you got to be willing to, if you go on lunch break, you're going to have some human excrement on the streets. You're going to have some whacked out Fetty users that are doubled over doing the Fetty fold. You're going to have people, stealing stuff. You're going to have some street conditions that we're going to describe as less than ideal. But don't worry. Up on your 55th floor, whatever it is, you're going to be okay. But, maybe don't leave the building. Just get in your car and drive wherever it is. And you got bulletproof windows in your car? You don't. Okay. Drive fast. You got a car that goes fast. I mean, and just get out of there. Sluggish downtown economic activity during the period covered by the 2024 tax returns was a likely factor. They avoid everything but the obvious, which is that this is not a desirable area to have your business, period. It's also possible that some companies that signed office deals more recently have decided to use the credit, but they won't show up until the next report from the tax collector's office. Okay. All right. Maybe. I'll give you a maybe for that. To me, the bottom line here is you can't give this space away. Right now, you cannot give this space away. If you can't give San Francisco's biggest shopping mall, which at one point in time had a 400% increase in the number of human excrement incidents on its elevator system. If you can't give that bad boy away, $1 million incentive to bring your company into a, up-and-coming neighborhood. It's laughable. To me, it's laughable. Whatever the reason, the lack of any obvious results from the tax break underscore the difficulties San Francisco has faced as it tries to revive its lackluster downtown. Cornerstone, the city's economy, there remains a far cry from its pre-pandemic vibrancy. While the artificial intelligence boom has stoked some leasing activity, getting it going, city's overall vacancy rate remains stubbornly high. You just can't seem to get it to come down. It just keeps going up, 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 with more than a third of offices sitting empty. Those numbers are just insane. But the direct result of the office tax break aren't the only way to measure whether it was worthwhile, said former San Francisco controller. Credit is better understood as one piece of a larger set of signals the city has sent to welcome businesses back downtown. Hey, if you had $1 million incentive in a Republican-run city, how many businesses do you think would move there? A bunch. But you know what? They don't have to offer $1 million incentive. You know what they offer? Low taxes, cheap office space, pro-business policy, lack of regulation, lack of inhibiting business. California doesn't do that. California is losing a taxpayer every minute and 43 seconds, something like that. It is bleeding taxpayers. It is bleeding businesses. San Francisco is part of that. Rather, the credit is better understood as one piece of a larger set of signals the city that's sent to welcome businesses back. I don't think in this particular area we're talking about ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's kind of like the Nordstrom rack announced yesterday in downtown Portland. We're out of here. We're out of here because your street conditions are so terrible in downtown Portland. Downtown Portland has a massive amount of retail space available and office space available, a massive amount, because downtown conditions are like a war zone. It's difficult. And you can't even really tell in Portland whether a business is in business, whether it's open, whether it's boarded up because the whacked out Antifa might come by and throw a hammer into the glass, or a homeless person on whacked out drugs might come by and, send something through the window. You just don't know. You're like, oh, well, maybe it's the store that's open. I mean, it might be open. You throw out everything and you see what works, Harrington said. A lot of times when you're doing taxation, it's about encouraging or discouraging behavior. When we're saying, we want to encourage you to come, we're going to offer you a tax break, that sends a message. But the real message is when businesses say, no, can't give us $1 million in breaks. We're not taking it. Not worth it. We've got this business plan model, and it includes not having any of our customers or management or ownership assaulted by the whacked out nut jobs in that particular area of San Francisco. Hard no-go. Whether people take advantage of it or not is not the only reason for doing it. Okay? What is? Oh, we've got this overall. We're encouraging businesses to come. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you can say that all day long, but if you don't back it up with, hey, you should come because of this, then it's not happening. You know what states that they are doing things that are attracting businesses? Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, Arizona. I mean, that's where taxpayers are going, right? Because it's cheaper, it's better run. You don't have a bunch of Looney Tunes running around. And I'm not saying Daniel Lurie, the mayor of San Francisco, isn't doing a good job. With what he's had to work with the position that he's in now, I think he's doing what he can to turn this around. But when you give $1 million out in credit and tax credit and nobody takes it, That's kind of an indicator. Even if there's another thing. We got Proposition M in 2024. The local ballot measure exempted businesses with less than $5 million in annual revenue from paying any gross receipt taxes, among other changes. Okay. All right. So we offered $1 million, and we also exempted businesses making less than $5 million in annual revenue from paying gross receipt taxes. And your office vacancy still went up? Still went up. Doesn't that kind of tell you everything? Still, San Francisco leaders say that they think the tax break can help lure some offices to the city, and they hope it will show results in future years. You know, the footage that I'm going to run for the people outside of the Nordstrom rack in downtown Portland, you got a bunch of blue people in downtown big blue cities like Portland. They're like, oh, it's so sad that Nordstrom Rack is leaving. I shopped there forever. Yeah. How did you vote? Did you vote for progressive Democrats? Oh, you did. Do you think the policies that they've implemented might have impacted Nordstrom Rack decision to leave? Because they never get into the reality, which is street conditions are horrific. And nobody wants to run a business there, specifically Nordstrom. They're like a no-go. Yeah, we're out of here. And the Nordstrom, I think it was CEO or CFO or whatever, he literally came right out to the mayor of Portland and said, I don't know how much longer we can keep this going. I don't know how much longer Nordstrom will have a presence in downtown Portland. You've already had that happen in San Francisco and at greater levels, because San Francisco is just a much bigger market than a Portland is or Seattle is. And they've got the highest vacancy, just sheer number of office space available, because businesses aren't relocating there. They're relocating to a ton of other states that have lower taxes, lower regulation, lower costs, lower gasoline prices, because that drives everything, right? This is kind of a funny part. The controller's office estimated that the $1 million credit to any business wants to come in, as originally proposed by Breed, would reduce San Francisco's gross receipts tax revenue by $4.4 million in 2024 last year, $11.2 million in 2025. Since the city has yet to record any usage of the tax break, those projections of reduced tax revenue did not materialize because nobody took them up on it. Shocker, right? Which Harrington, the former controller, said is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing either. It's not even a good thing. It means nobody's taking you up on the fact that you're offering something pretty amazing, and businesses are saying, no, we're still not going to work this out. We're still not going to work out how we can take your big old fat tax credit and run it through our system and make something out of it. In a positive sign for its office market, San Francisco has recently seen a flurry of leasing interest from companies involved in the artificial intelligence sector, just not in the area that we're talking about. So we've got Anthropic AI. We've got OpenAI. Those are the two big leases you hear about. NVIDIA just leased its first San Francisco office at Mission Rock. Not in the areas we're talking about. Whether some of those deals and others like them might use the office tax break remains to be seen. Tax collector's office said it couldn't comment on the eligibility. I got to keep that mum. Yeah, nobody's using that. Nobody is using these breaks because they don't want to move there. And unless you're an AI company, and if you're an AI company, if you're any company considering moving into a San Francisco, a Portland, a Seattle, the world is your oyster. If you're willing to go there to a dumpster fire of a big blue city and take the risk of, I think this is a good idea. Let's go to lunch, but hey, let's drive because we need to get out of this particular area that our office is in and go somewhere else. Plus, I don't want to walk on the streets. I don't want to have to walk past these homeless people whacked out of their mind on drugs because there's a little area called the Tenderloin nearby. This is all my opinion, of course. This is all my opinion. But let's be honest. It's not that hard to put these pieces of the puzzle together. It's just not. It's just not. All right. So if a company does perchance use $1 million credit, I will report that for you right here on News for Reasonable People. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe. That notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.